do love you, Leeds. Hello, welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. I'm joined by my brothers from another mothers, from all the Leeds Bros, Darren and Dillo, for your latest episode of the final Pint. Hope everyone's all right. Hope everyone's had a good Christmas. My mic stopped working, my camera stopped working, so yeah, I don't know what's going on. Stressful last 10 minutes, so that's why we're running a bit late. But anyway, lads, how are you two doing?
Yeah, good, matey, good. Actually, don't even know what day it is. Forgot to put out the bins and all this morning. It's just that time after Christmas and New Year's where you're like, what day is it? What should I be doing myself? Should I keep drinking? Should I stop drinking? Should I stop eating? Should I keep eating? Just that time of the year, isn't it? But yeah.
I haven't been home yet.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, Dylan just stayed with me. Have a lodger. What a Christmas. Had a great time, yeah. Even starting Christmas Eve. Christmas was a great day. Stephen's a day, then with all the family over yesterday. So we had a big dinner here yesterday and a couple of drinks then last night. And it's what Christmas is all about, isn't it? Just spending time with the family and friends and having a good bit of laugh, and that's what we done. What about you? Good one?
100%. Yeah, exactly the same, mate. Gets to January and you start thinking about losing a bit of weight, don't you? But I tend to just, not curb it at all, to be honest. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how I feel in January. But yeah, all good. Fantastic Christmas. Last few days have been brilliant. Like you say, forget what day of week it is. All blends into one, but got another week off work. So yeah, all good. And we've got plenty of football while we're off. Another 2 games to go before I'm back at work. So
love it.
Brilliant.
Love it.
But yeah.
For you, it'd be nice now if they were at home, wouldn't it? It'd be handy, like nice little roll off you, like 2 or 3 in a row. Obviously now we've got Blackburn, but obviously these 2 away would have been nice. Kind of 2 back to back at home for you, wouldn't it? Like in the space of like
it would
3 days would have been.
Mate,
nice.
I got offered Stoke tickets 4 hours before kick off, and it was like I just couldn't do it. Yeah, my mate Jay rung me. He had 2 tickets for Stoke, and they were like, "You drive and we'll go." And I was like, "Just couldn't do it, mate. Too close with kids and stuff. 4 hours, not enough notice." I was like, "My God, I know bloody kids who'd have them, eh?" Brilliant. But yeah, like I say, there's a lot of fog. Couldn't see much of the game, but what we saw were quite brilliant last night. Absolutely made up for us to get that monkey off us back, lads. Lineup, how did you feel looking at that lineup? Because one position stood out more than any, I think, and what a shock that was, Tanaka on bench.
Yeah, it took us by surprise. Look what I said. We were obviously in here. We were busy. I was kind of doing being chef, so I was kind of like in and out. And when the teams were released, Dylan was out here, obviously in the man cave having a couple of points, and I literally just legged it out to him. Just couldn't believe it. I was just like, he's after dropping Tanaka. And we were kind of fuming, weren't we? Like we were a little bit like, what is he doing? But again, I was happy it was quality in the middle of the park, like it worked. And then obviously seeing Tanaka come on, but how good does that feel, mate? Like you're bringing someone like Tanaka off the bench, like it's just insane. That squad, Ramazani coming on, Nando, Mateo Joseph, Tanaka, it's just unbelievable. But he got a spot on, and one thing I do have to say before we obviously get into Brendan Aronson yesterday, he was class. It's something that I think we've said him away from home. He's been poor. He hasn't got into games. He's been ineffective. Yesterday he was absolutely unbelievable yesterday, and that's what you want to see from Aronson. And like that, if you can kind of keep that level of performance and that consistency, we won't have an issue with him in the number 10, then will we?
No, 100% not, mate. No, that's what it'll be.
Sorry, actually, I forgot to give a shout out for Anya Garms sorting us out for Christmas. Nice. The Mrs. got myself and Dylan, so big shout out to him. Check him out on Instagram. Daily delivery, quality and all that class, lads. Not a paid promotion or anything like that, but just really, if you like kind of groovy jumpers like this, check them out. Really cool.
Decent clubber. Look, Callum says Stoke manager's just been sacked. I think that was to be expected. Yeah. Although they could have sacked him before Leeds game for me, because I'm sure they wouldn't have expected to get much out of Leeds, albeit our away performances haven't been great. It was exactly what the doctor ordered yesterday, and I didn't really see another result, to be honest. Dillo, Ampadu comes in, does well.
Done very well. Surprisingly, I thought he'd hold back a little bit, considering the injury. The way they say mental health. It's a big part of it. Done very well, though, I have to say. He sliding in on the tackles. He wasn't pulling out tackles. He's done very well, considering Tanaka. It's just a hard one. I thought Rowell would have been one to be dropped to. At the same time, I kind of love it that there's the competition there between 3 great smashing players in the middle of the park.
100%.
And obviously my man Pirro. Let's be honest, what a man, what a player. He's unreal, lads.
We'll have to get.
But then I actually have to give a mention to Jaden Bogle, lads. Thought he was thought he was phenomenal. I really
Best
do.
player on pitch.
He
Best
was
player on pitch.
everywhere, wasn't he? That's really
You know,
Yeah.
I know Pirro did get man of the match, but for me, I have to give it to Jaden Bogle. Dan James again, that right hand side is just dangerous. Very dangerous.
I agree.
Bogle carries the ball so well.
Yeah, it does.
He carries so well.
That's obviously what we're obviously wanted to kind of get into the Tanaka and Rotwell partnership. Like, is that the end of it now? Because it'll seem like a mortal sin if we have Tanaka sitting on the bench, Matty, wouldn't it? Like, how do we get all three of them on the pitch, mate?
I don't know. I mean, we touched on it quite a bit, haven't we, about maybe Aronson coming out and then Aronson goes and does that. But this is what happens. People raise their level when they're threatened. You know, that's why it's brilliant to have these options. But I don't want to read too much into Tanaka coming out, to be honest. Honestly, I do think it was just rotation. And when you look at it, it's similar to last season, obviously different in quality, but you've got Ampadu and Gruev who were fairly similar, and it were always one of them to play ideally with someone else. This one, I think Tanaka and Rothwell, one of them needs to partner. Tanaka or Ampadu, one of them needs to partner Rothwell for me. I think if you take Rothwell out and you have Tanaka and Ampadu, you haven't got much going forward. Yeah, although Tanaka probably can do both. I don't think Ampadu can really. But I think it's just rotation. I wouldn't read too much into him being dropped. I don't like that word, as you know. I don't mind rotation at all. I do expect Tanaka to start the next game if that means Ampadu comes out. I mean, apparently he's got a bit of a knock, hasn't he? Looking at the press conference, potentially got a bit of a knock, so he might be missing with that one. Byram as well, which is tough when we've got Firpo and Voba out still. So I don't know what we'll do there. But yeah, I thought Ampadu was done brilliant. You got to look at his natural fitness and his desire to get back there. 2 90-minute performances back to back, covered in over 2 positions. I mean, he's just a modern professional. He's come back a month early, putting in 2. You know, not many people can come back a month early and play 2 90-minute performances back to back within a week. And
good 90 minutes as well. Like,
brilliant.
Didn't look rusty. Yeah, look really good there.
Brilliant. Let me have a look at these comments. I thought the lineup was expected. Tanaka hasn't been brilliant of late. Oh, I disagree with that, Andy.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. I'm not too sure on that one, bud. Hi, lads. Yesterday's result was important because our rivals are beginning to believe we're struggling to win away, no matter what anyone thinks, including Farke. Away results are psychologically vital. Yeah, I agree. It was massive that, especially with Sheffield United getting beat at home. It was massive that
we went to the yesterday. We had to go there. Like, we were given that little carrot, wasn't it? We had to go, and especially Sheffield United slipping up. I know kind of brings Burnley back close enough, but it was probably like we definitely didn't want Sheffield United to win again. So I'm kind of happy now. We're kind of all like level pegging, but yeah, it makes for an exciting one now, doesn't it? Especially going back top.
Yeah, 100%. And Derby away next is you'd imagine that shouldn't be too bad. That we're beating them comfortably recently.
Like what we said, Matty, before this, when we were obviously doing our build-up, and we're saying obviously 2 back-to-back away games. This is absolutely massive now on Daniel Farke and on the club, because obviously it was kind of starting to get to that stage where we're giving it about the away one. Like, if we can go and win 2 back-to-backs, it kind of puts it to bed then, doesn't it?
100%, mate. And this comedy, I do think we're going to see a lot more rotation now than we saw, last year. I think as we get all those troops back and everyone's sort of fit, I do expect there'll be games where you could even see Dan James come out for the next game, which will be a shock. But there's options there to rotate, and you might be taking people out the lineup who are in form, but the quality doesn't really drop with the players that are coming in for me. Nonto's out of form, but on a good day, it could perform as well as a James or a Solomon. It's just finding that form for some of these players. But I think that's what they need to be doing. A bit like Pirro did earlier in the season. When they come on for the 20 minutes, these sub appearances, they need to be grabbing it, and then forcing him to start next game.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the Meslier save early doors? For me, we don't, we give him his flowers when it's due, but we're not his biggest fans. But I tend to say he doesn't save as many points or win as many points. He did last night for me. That was massive. That save.
Yeah. I have to agree.
Yeah, he was really good. And look, just said, Mikey, like, you don't have to be a bigger fan, but you can't, double down and say, no, it wasn't like I expect him to make them saves. It was a good save, and he has got them in his locker, but also he has got some clangers as well. But yeah, it was vital yesterday. And obviously, look at the conditions away at Stoke. Look, it was never going to be easy, and he was always going to be called upon at some stage. And that's what you need your keeper to do when called upon like that. He needs to keep us in the game, and he did yesterday. Really good performance from Meslier at the back as well. So yeah, can't knock him at all yesterday.
100%. I think all over the park. I know I have to give Meslier his flowers as well, but I think all over the park. Like, I think the lads really stepped it up yesterday. All things considered after Christmas as well. Like, at the end of the day, what Darren said in the last stream, you have to remember these are players that couldn't really enjoy Christmas because they had to travel down to Stoke. So to put on a performance like that away from home, to win obviously away from home, and obviously the talk around the away form has been shit, you know. So the pressure was on him. So you have to kind of turn around and go, fair play, fair play to the backroom staff, even the players, because they've really pulled one out of the bag here. I know, look, Stoke weren't great, but then as you said, if Melier did,
They did have a couple of chances though, didn't they, lads? Like,
They did.
Watched the game back again today, and then the extended highlights of the game. They had a couple of chances, lads. Like they really did. There was one that was whipped into the box. He got a header on it and just went by the post. And like they're the ones like that that kind of change games. So we did get a little bit of luck as well in the game, even though our quality was outstanding. I'm sure we're gonna kind of gone on to the goals, unbelievable. But yeah, they had their chances as well. It was actually a really, really good game to watch. I actually really enjoyed it, and I think obviously the fog kind of added to it as well. But yeah, proper game of football, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. I mean, before we scored, yeah, I felt when I switched after 5. Honestly, for that opening 5 minutes, I was panicking a little bit. You know, they came out of blocks firing, and we took 5 or 10 minutes to just get into it. But then I felt like even before we scored, we got to grips with the game, and it felt like a home game the way we were playing. It felt like the tempo after that first 10 minutes, we picked the tempo up. We were moving possession well for what we could see through the fog anyway. And the movement looked good. And yeah, I felt like we just strangled all that game, and we never really let it go. Like I said, they had a few moments. The Gunner, Stoke away on a Thursday night rather than a Tuesday night, but bad weather. I think Stoke's like covered in fog, rain, or just miserable grey skies most days. Isn't it? To be fair, I don't think it matters what day you go to Stoke on, but like you say, that sort of weather, I was worried for Melier coming out for balls. I think he caught a lot more than he punched. He did really well, and that. You got to think that breeds confidence throughout the side, and you could see as after that 10-minute spell, they were really confident. And I feel like early doors in that game, they could tell they could win this game. Where I think in previous games they hadn't quite believed they could win these dogged games. And I'll touch on Ampadu again. Away games may suit having someone like Ampadu in there, because I feel like sometimes we can be a little bit too nice. And I'll be honest with you, lads, I felt like we came out fighting this game. You could see Bogle, second ball, winning it on halfway line and driving with it, taking no prisoners. I feel like we left a bit in every challenge. We attempted to match them for the fight, and you've got to earn your right to play, aren't you, in this division? And then the quality shows.
That's something Matty that has been missing away from home as well, like with the tempo alongside it. Just that little bite, like what you said, like kind of up for it, you know what I mean? Wanting to actually win.
But you could see that though. You could see that yesterday. Yeah.
Like they had that yesterday, and that's what you need, especially going away from home. I think at Elm Road, look, obviously we're not professional footballers, haven't played, but you'd like to imagine if you've 36,000 Leeds fans, it's kind of easier to get up for it, you know what I mean? Kind of easier to, get in, win tackles when the crowd are up for it. Away from home, and against it in a game like that, they just seemed all up for it. Like what you said, Matty, winning second balls and that. So yeah, it was the complete performances, and it's something that we haven't seen from Leeds this season away from home. So it was really, really good to see. And obviously, look at it, topped off a great day, especially over the Christmas period. Like when the Leeds actually make it a good Christmas for us, it's always one of them where they always seem to kind of ruin your Christmas or put you in a bad mood, whether it's just before the Christmas break or around Boxing Day, Stevens' Day, and it kind of seems to ruin it. But yeah, the top performance away from home at a really, really tough place as well.
I mean, just touching on that first goal, Delo, great down that right-hand side. I mean, you already touched on Bogle, but let's just bring him up again. Bogle and James, that's got to be the best chemistry, I think, out of any of the fullbacks and wingers. That side, them two, unreal.
It was the ball that Bogle played in
unreal,
for me.
Mate. Unreal.
That made the run for Dan James. And obviously, he knows that he can get to it because he's quick. He's like lightning.
Yeah.
But then yet again, just... he looks up and it's gone.
He always wants to find him. You see when Bogle gets it.
It's what second goal, actually, wasn't it? It was second goal, but go on.
Yeah, that was a second.
Oh, sorry.
It's Bogle. In general, when you see when Bogle picks the ball up, he's always trying to find them, isn't he? Every time you see him, he's always looking for Dan James. And even, obviously, we haven't talked about the first goal, but the second goal before it, Dan James obviously gets applauded. It's a lovely little thing to the back post, and that boy Pirro, you just put it on the play from his scores. But it was Jaden Bogle's one, the one just before that lovely ball over the top to find Dan James, and he just keeps trying it. Every time he seems to get up the ball, his first kind of thought is, "Where's Dan James? Can I get him going, man?" That's what I love about Bogle. He wants to be quick with it. He wants to get it moving.
You could argue, but sorry, not that you could argue, but it's kind of hard now. We've been always saying it about Fark, the trying to get a starting 11 out when the players that are on the bench, it's a headache for him.
Yeah,
but it's also a headache for us saying, who can we give man of the match to? Because at the end of the day, I know Pirro got it because he got the 2 goals. And to be fair, I think he deserves it. But then, you still have Bogle in there who played. For me, should have got it. Dan James.
Bogle got the Leeds man of the match, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Pirro on the square, like that square. Very, goals and assists.
Yeah.
Kind of, but like Bogle obviously got the Leeds votes one, so yeah, they were classed about him.
You know, then as DJ again down that side. And then in the middle of the park, like, you know, I said, Ampadu stepped it up after the injury. Rottwell, same thing. The Rottweiler, he just goes missing, but picks the ball up or does what he needs. It just does his job. And then, to be fair, Solomon was quite good as well. He was missing at times, but he was still consistent, you know. My worry is Ramazani and Nando at the minute. But then, on the other hand of it, I'm kind of like, you're thinking about it too much because there is a lot of games coming up. This is it now after Christmas where the ground gets running.
Only halfway through, lads.
So, you know, Nanto and Ramzani will probably come in, you know, later into the new year, you know. But great win. Like, I'm absolutely chuffed with them. I'm probably the most satisfied game I've watched. You know, not because of the fog, but considering there's a lot of pressure on the lads.
Yeah.
And then, as I said, all that over Christmas and all.
Just as well. Like, it was like, it felt like, it was like what Dylan said. It was like, it was a really satisfying win because everything that was going with this Holloway performance, like a couple of days even leading over the Christmas, it was like, I was anxious about this game away from home. You know, what if we slip up again? And do you know what I mean? This kind of away from home kind of carries on then, and like that, then your competitors then for promotion are looking, you know, kind of going, well, Leeds are wobbling away from home. Then it was just like that when the final whistle went yesterday. It felt good to just see Leeds performing like that away from home. It's kind of okay to go and win 2-0, but the performance was there with it as well, lads. And I think that's the most satisfying one for me because even away from home, we've been getting decent results away from home. It's the performances that have been poor away from home. So for me, yesterday, the performance was tops.
I couldn't see any more, mate. I mean, you look at it and go, 3 points is all I wanted yesterday, but we got both. We got the performance and the 3 points, you know. Massive that. I mean, you get the performance right, the points normally follow. We found that yesterday. For me, it was just like an home game, the way we played, you know. Yeah, they're always going to have an odd chance, but we really nullified most of their work after that opening 10 minutes. And that swiftly moves us on to Brendan Aronson. I think Dan makes a good point from Seaside's TV. We've all spoke about Solomon. We've all spoke about Nonto. You know, there is some players we all believe could play in that 10. Solomon's definitely one of them. But after the performance yesterday, I'm not saying he's the answer. I still think we've got to go get a 10 in January. But that for me yesterday, one of his better games, away from home especially, because that was a game where I thought it's going to be hard to break Stoke down with Aronson in 10. I wanted a flair player. I wanted a Solomon in there. It proved me wrong yesterday. You know, that first goal, the composure, one touch and played a beautiful weighted ball through to Pirro. I don't think he gets the assist for that, I don't think, but it was brilliant.
But you know, you have to give it to him. What a pass in between the lines. And like that, like what you said, I wanted quality as well. And it's something that we don't see enough from him, treading them little balls. And even apart from that, his shooting is on point. I think we've all seen it. When you think of Brendan Aronson shooting, you think the ball just being skied over the top with him. Yesterday, he had a couple of chances as well, a couple of really decent attempts on goal, keeping a shot down, really testing the goalkeeper. He done everything yesterday that number 10 should be doing. And that's what he needs to get at. He needs to keep them performances going, especially away from home. Like that at Elm Road, he does it, he's fine. It was away from home where he was lacking a little bit this season, but like that, I think he proved us all wrong yesterday. He was phenomenal.
Yeah, like you said, like Danny says here, Solomon will be good in 10, but Farker's not going to do it. And I think it's just taken me a little longer than some to get on board with Aronson. I've always liked him. I mean, his numbers have never looked a problem, to be fair. He scored goals, you know, on his first game back, didn't he? You know, at Portsmouth, could have had 2. So his numbers are all right. Not bad at all. He's probably on course of getting double figures on both goals and assists, to be fair, which would be a great return for him. Yeah. But it sort of passes like that through to your striker that's been missing. Like I said to you before, he's always going to get the odd goal. Is Aronson? He's playing in the 10 position for Leeds United. Create that many chances, you know, cross the into box, 15 to 20 shots per game. There's going to be opportunities for him to slot it away. He's got to. I mean, I don't see him as a 10 who's going to get the ball and put it in top corner from outside box. I don't. He feeds on scraps, but he gets in there and he's putting them away now. And for me, that pass just typified exactly what I want from my 10. I want someone who can bring ball down, compose himself in those moments and just play a ball through, because that's what Pirro wants. That's what Pirro needs.
Not thinking of mighty as well, just doing it. Because times as well, I feel like he's hesitant on the ball. Let me take that extra touch. Just do it. Play the pass straight away. Class.
100%. Would you keep him in 10 going forward then?
I think there's no arguments now for me, mate. Look, I said at home at Ellen Road, fine, no problem at all with Brendan Aronson. It was away from home when he was frustrating me a little bit. Not even frustrating me. At Blackburn, I felt really sorry for him because he really struggled against Blackburn. He had a very poor day.
Yeah.
And Farke, that's why I gave Farke the criticism that day as well, because he seen him struggling. He didn't take him out of the 4-9. So it was just his away performance. I wanted to see him getting involved a little bit more in the game, showing his quality a little bit more on the ball, and he did yesterday. But like I said, he needs to keep that level of performance now at Derby as well. There's no reason that I don't think he should come out of that number 10 position. But like I said, I'm not going to sit here and flip flop on it and put the blinkers on. I still do think we need a number 10 coming January. We can't rest on it.
But there's also that you're saying Solomon, which is good as well. But like if Tanaka is sitting on the bench, I think he's wasted on the bench, lads. If I'm being honest,
How do we get him on?
He can really put in a good shift when it comes to his passing, his calmness on the ball. Imagine him treading the pass through the Pirro. Goals be going in left, right, and centre, lads.
It just feels criminal to have him on the bench, doesn't it? Like, it's how do we get him into the squad? But look, it's going to be interesting. The Derby, like if Tanaka starts on the bench in Derby, it's going to be a real head scratch, might you, isn't it?
No, it is, pal, 100%. At the minute, looking at how Aronson's played there, like I say, you never know with rotation. He could take Aronson out for rotation, but he's the one we haven't really seen taken out of the side this year. I sort of thought the only way to get the three midfielders in was dropping Aronson. Now I just aren't too sure. It might be a case of 3-2 and they rotate one, and we either see Tanaka, Rothwell, or Ampadu on bench, and they just rotate between them. But like I say, I just don't see how he can lose Rothwell outside. And really, you could say Rothwell's maybe the worst of the three. Very close. I don't know. Potentially,
he's a different type of player.
That's it, mate. Yeah,
you need someone like him, though. I think like it's something that we really, really missed last season was that ball carrier. Like you can like that. He's dogging in there. He gets about the pitch. But I just love. He just drives out the pitch. He gets the ball and runs with it. We don't really seem to have that. Ampadu is more like he will go with it, but he'll kind of find the pass where Rothwell has no problem at all trying to burst forward. Like, but I keep saying that kind of Matthias Click kind of sort of burst the pace will bring us up the pitch, and you need someone like that as well. That different type of style. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. We've obviously this is something that we've talked about for a while about Ampadu coming back in. I didn't see this. I didn't see Tanaka being taken out of the squad. I thought if anyone like what you said. I thought it might have been Rothwell, but it would have been very harsh. The next one, then you're kind of thinking, is Aronson, are we going to go with 4-3-3 then? I never thought out Tanaka. I think that caught every Leeds fan off guard yesterday. And look, we'll obviously see against Derby when the team sheet comes out against Derby. If Tanaka's on the bench again, it's just going to be mental. To have someone like him of his quality and how well he's played for us sitting on our benches is crazy.
That's true. I think Tanaka has played in 10. I think he's had minutes for Japan there as well.
He's played 10 for Japan, yeah.
Yeah, he has. I don't know how much, but I think you can just tell with his attributes, he can probably play anywhere in midfield. But like I say, whether he's going to tweak it and look at that, I don't really know.
He might want to rotate at Derby though, will he? Like it's been being hectic, hasn't it? Like over this Christmas period, and he has to rotate it, I think, again at Derby, but.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't like it, mate. He doesn't really like to kind of shake it up. Do you think maybe then we see more of a shake up at home against Blackburn?
Maybe, mate. I mean, it's so difficult to judge in it. Like you say, he's thrown the spanner in works there yesterday. No one saw that coming. But I mean, I look at Blackburn. It's at home. I expect us to win, but I think they're trickier than Derby away. I mean, I don't know if I'm speaking sense here or what, but I just think I know Derby's away. The home form isn't awful, but we've just beaten them. I think psychologically that's massive for Leeds to know what they've got to offer. I know it's slightly different being away from home, but the confidence from beating Stoke away, the fact we've just slapped Derby up a few weeks ago, and they looked so poor. We made Derby look, honestly, like 4 divisions below us. We made them look so poor when we beat them the week. So I think that's a given me. I think we turn up there as long as we show a bit of fight and a bit of endeavour early on, win that fight. And give us a right to play. I think we'll win that. So for me, I expect changes in this game, Darren. If I'm honest, I think the Derby game we see maybe a winger or two switched. I think Tanaka comes back in and maybe I think Ampadu probably comes out if he's got a little knock. They won't risk him. He might as well drop to the bench. You may even see a Gilavogi. You might have to see Schmidt at left back if Byram's struggling. I think there's a few. You look at Byram, can he play again? He seems to be playing all the time now. We're not having much cover. He's been giving Schmidt minutes at left back recently, scarce ones, but it seems now we're finally seeing Schmidt in that role. That he could get his first start. Maybe. What do you think to that one?
Yeah, look, I think so. Like it's with Daniel Farke and knowing him as long as he's been our manager. He hates changing a winning team. Like even if the performance is never really there, he doesn't really like shaking it up too much. But I do think Derby's probably the one where he's gonna have to. And look, if Byram isn't fit, Smith has to go in there and look. If he's not doing the job against Derby, then it's kind of like, why did we sign him? And now that kind of sounds harsh, but this is his time to step up. He has to grab it with both hands. Routwell done it. Tanaka done it when Gruev and Ampadu were out injured. It just has to be the one, mate. He's going to have to up his level of performance and give Fark something to think about, because it's really the only way he's going to get into the squad. When you look across the park, I know he's kind of coming on little cameos on the wings. There's no way he's going to get an opportunity in the wings. There's no way he's going to get into that midfield role. He has played right full. Jaden Bogle has been outstanding as well. So this is his opportunity against Derby, if he does start him, to grab it with both hands.
But I'd like to see him. I actually, every time that he comes on, he looks sharp. He looks, I genuinely think it was a fitness thing. I don't think it was a mentality thing. I genuinely just think he couldn't get up to the speed of the fitness. Every time he's coming on now, he looks sharp. He's quick. His ball carrying is very good. So, and he kind of injects that kind of bit of motivation and confidence in the players, as far as we can see. He wants the ball. He's making the run. So, yeah, it wouldn't be a bad show either if Boyram wasn't being, if we hadn't got cover at left back to give Schmidt a go. So I genuinely think it's time now.
Do you think, Mikey, that it could be a similar situation to Gruev? Because obviously the start of last season, for the first half of the season, we didn't see Gruev, little parts here and there. He comes in January and we're all kind of saying, why hasn't he been starting this guy? He's phenomenal when he comes in. I'm just hoping it's a similar situation, that it's kind of just taking him time, to get used to his surroundings, the club, the CE, everything like that. And then it kind of comes to the turn of the year, then we kind of see a good bit from Smith, because I know you two, when you watch clips of him, he does look like a decent player. He has played at a decent level. He's played in Europe. He does look good. So there's no reason why he can't get up to this level of the Championship. So, like I said, he's given the opportunity against Derby. He grabs it with both hands and then really gives Fark then a headache. And then, like that, right across the park, mate, just everywhere, apart from the goalkeeper, you may say, there's competition for places everywhere, and that's what you want. Especially now with Fairport being out for so long. If Boyram, we obviously know the situation with that. It's unfortunate Forward's injured as well, so this is his chance.
100%, mate. I mean, I don't know what you think, lads, but I feel like Schmidt was signed maybe as a long-term replacement for Fairport, with no immediate rush to come in. I mean, we all know Byram's adequate cover on both sides. We think it's phenomenal. All three of us, we really like him, don't we, in that role. Yeah. And obviously, Voba, I think Fark has always thought Voba would fill in at left back at some point this season. Obviously, they'll fill in at centre back whenever Pascal's probably potentially out. I think he'd have played there instead of Ampadu last week, I think, if Voba had been fit. But I think he's just down pecking order. There's been no rush to get him there because of that cover. That cover for left hand side has been top class for Championship. So that it's a fortunate position Fark is in this year, but it also comes with pressure. He's got players in every position to cover, and he hasn't had to force anyone back from through an injury. And I feel like Schmidt started injured. He's been able to give him minutes. He doesn't sound like he's banging on his door, demanding minutes. He sounds like someone said in the chat, he looks a humble guy. He looks laughing and joking when he's running up and down sideline at Ellen Road, warming up. He looks really good when I've seen him interviewed. He looks happy to be here and he's biding his time. And like you said, it could be like Gruev.
Even the little thing there, Matty, when we score, the players comes, he's the first one as well to run for the subs as well. He's in there and he's celebrating as well. And that's a sign as well. It's just them little things, make you think, he wants to be here.
100%, mate. And like you say, that second half of the season, there's still a lot of games to come. You've got a mad January to get through. He could be like a new signing come start of January.
What I mean? It's similar to Gruev, do you know what I mean? Just come and take you by surprise, hopefully.
Everyone's got to bide the time when squad's so good. If Schmidt wants to play football, he could go somewhere else, but you're not a Leeds United pushing for promotion. So it's a double-edged sword. You want to be successful, you want to play for a good side, a big club. You're not just going to walk into a side like Leeds United. You're not. He knew when he signed here, he had Firpo, Voba at club, he had Byram. A lot of options there. But I tell you what, the fact he can play multiple positions is always going to keep him in squad. It's always going to keep him on fringes. And what he needs to do, like I say, I just don't think he's been fit enough for long minutes. But as he's getting closer now, when he gets his sub opportunity, when he gets that 20, 25 minutes, which he hasn't really been getting, it's been 10, 15 at best. He needs to grab it with both hands, because there's always going to be knocks, there's always going to be suspensions, and we've seen in this side, if you come in and do a job, you'll get rewarded. We've seen Voba come in, he had a couple of games, unfortunately, he got a knock, he'd have probably maintained that spot. We've seen Biden be rewarded when he's had a couple of good games, he's moved from left to right to cover. You do Rothwell, Tanaka, they've been a mainstay in there. Now they've got an headache with Ampadu, but I do think you get rewarded for form. Pirro coming off a bench week after week, getting his goal, gets rewarded with starts. So I do think Fark is fair. I don't think he likes to rotate too much, but I do feel like when someone comes on and does well, It does give you a chance. I think so.
Yeah.
So I think that's up to Schmidt now because I don't think he's far off starting a game. He might be forced to start this one. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Surely he'd go for Schmidt over James De Bayo, you'd imagine, even if he's not quite fit. But if that's his only option, you may see him start, and then it's up to him to grab it. Innit? Everyone's got to grab the shirt when they get given those scarce opportunities.
That's it. Once you get opportunities, you have to grab it both hands, and like that. It's kind of the way he's 3 people essentially that were ahead of him in that left back row aren't there. So you've got Firpo injured, you got Vauber injured as well, and Boyram. So that's 3 injuries in that position. That's gonna give him this opportunity to step in there and take this. So he has to take it with both hands now. You know, he has, because where else you see him getting in then? You know, apart from Bogle like that as well. You like to think if Bogle's injured, Boyram's going to fill in there as well. So this is his chance. This is his chance to step up.
100%. All teams sign players that when they get them in training paddock, it's clear they're below the level. Schmidt for me is one. Yeah, I disagree, Dan. I do. I don't think he's below the level. He said in a press conference a few weeks back, didn't he, that he had some sort of injury and it's meant just to build his minutes up. Yeah. So I think that, honestly, I do think that's all it's been.
He hasn't played much at all, but from the little snippets that you have seen,
he's looked good.
He has a bit of quality there.
Yeah,
a little bit of quality.
I mean, that could be true in some instances. Yeah, there'll be people sign players and they maybe get them on training pack and think, what have I signed here? I think that happened with Calvin Phillips at Man City. Do you know, he got on training pitch and he didn't quite look at the level of where he'd gone to. Obviously, that's a different sort of level, but it can happen. But I don't think that's the case with this one. I just think they're building his minutes up and they haven't had to push him. There's been no need to throw Schmidt out there because the positions he's playing, the plays that are good enough, you know what I mean? And bar injuries to his midfield and his wing backs to a degree, we've had cover everywhere really, and he hasn't had to force him. This could be the only time he's been forced to play him, so we'll have to see how it goes. I think Isaac will get his chance. He's just a young lad. I mean, how old is he? Is he early 20s, Isaac?
23, I think, might he? Only 23, buddy.
Hernia operation. You speak about it quite a lot, don't you, Dan? You know, with your injuries when you used to play football and stuff, you know, mentally it's quite a big thing to come back from. And, you know, I do feel like between him and Farker, they've made the right call with him not to rush him back. And like I say, when he gets his opportunity,
it's trusting your body, mate. Like I think, like anyone that's going to play any football, or it doesn't even have to be football. Anyone that's had any sort of injury, whether you tweak your back or hurt your shoulder or whatever it may be, it takes time for you to naturally start to trust it again, doesn't it? So when you're going out there and you're playing football and you're running around 100 mile an hour, so just that little thing in the back of your head, like, is it okay? Is it okay? And sometimes that could just be enough then to put you off your concentration a little bit. Make the pass quick enough. You're not sprinting for the ball quick enough. It's all them little things. Now look at footballers nowadays, they're looked after, they've all got the psychologists and stuff like that, I mean, to kind of put that out of their heads and, all these tests, that'll obviously back all that up, that they're fine. So, yeah, okay. I think it might be one of them Gruev situations where, we didn't see much of him to start the season, and hopefully now the second half that he really comes in and just grabs up all hands and surprises, because, like you said, that Firpo situation with the contract, we don't know what way that's going to go. Well, it'd be nice to kind of have someone just naturally kind of come in and take that position with both hands, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. There's 25 watching. Please smash a like, subscribe to me and all the Leeds Bros if you haven't already. Please do stick a like on it. So this one, did either of you watch the Sheffield United Burnley game?
Go watch the highlights.
Honestly, lads, the eye test tells you something else to the statistics. They're right up there. They don't concede many goals. I mean, I can't believe they conceded 2. Or I don't know if I'm more shocked Sheffield United conceded 2 or Burnley scored 2. I'm not too sure, but the eye test. They're both very poor sides, to our standard when you watch it with it. But
what's it with Burnley? They've only conceded like 9 goals or something, isn't it? 9 goals in 3 games, like that.
That's scandalous,
ridiculous, mate. Absolutely ridiculous.
And they're always giving themselves a chance to win a game, though, aren't they? Only need a goal to win. So
that's a solid foundation, yeah.
It's keeping them in talk, in the talk of getting promotion and winning league. But we've always said we're the best side in league. We believe we can sort of say that now. I mean, statistically, I still had someone say to me earlier. Statistically, Sheffield United have won 2 more points than us, but obviously they're being took off them. But there's always someone wanting to just
What's that saying? If you're anti-head balls.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. But I feel like we're in a really good spot now. Like getting Ampadu back, that's massive. Getting that Hood offers back yesterday, that's massive. I feel like I've got a really good run now. I mean, if you're going into New Year and your fixtures are Derby, Blackburn and Hull, it's not a bad place to be. That's not a bad place after a good couple of results. Your captain's back fit. You're going into January where you're hoping we're proactive and not reactive.
I'm on top of the league.
100%, mate. That's it. That's where we want to be, and that away form's been the only thing that's been keeping us in mix rather than being above.
Yeah.
And we should really get 3 back-to-back wins for me because I think we beat Derby, then we've got Hull away, and I know it's Yorkshire Derby and all that, but when you look at where they are in division, how they're playing,
they're poor side, aren't they?
Very poor this season,
Poor
mate.
side,
Very poor, well below where they'd want to be. I'd like to touch on the Joel Pirro, Matteo Joseph. Look at him, I know he'd be happy. How did you feel he did outside the goals? Not that matters too much, but because I felt like he had a good game, to be honest.
Oh yeah, he moved the ball very well.
Yeah,
1-2s. He was kind of everywhere though as well. It was kind of one of them games that he stood out. He stood out an awful lot for me anyway.
He wanted it.
He wanted it a bit more. Yeah, you know, and behind closed doors as well. Like he has been doing it. He's been banging in goals, but the way that he played yesterday, from what I've seen, because of as Andy said there, the mist. Just any time that I did see him, it was positive. It was constantly positive. It wasn't like, as Darren says, like it's a trampoline bouncing off him, you know. I thought he done very well, and yeah, I love him anyway, regardless. So
has that put to bed the conversation now, mate? Should he be leading the line that we tend to speak about every week, don't we?
I think so, mate. Like what's it now? Like 9 goals and he's 4 or 5 assists as well. Yeah. Like I think it kind of has to like. That's obviously one of his better games, and again, it's similar to kind of the Arrington situation. If you could kind of have him hitting that consistency every single week, you know, keeping his performances there, you know, you'd be kind of happy enough with that. But Pirro tends to do like he does drop below that level. Do you know what I mean? There is times where he's very much, you know, out of the game. Like Oxford, he wasn't really in the game, lads, and it was one of them where he was kind of drifting in and out. He'd go missing for large periods. And someone like Joe Pirro, you need him in the game, but it's the main thing, and it's something we've always said, lads, way back at the start of the season when this debate started with Joseph and Pirro, is that if you feed Pirro like what we did yesterday, give him opportunities, he will score goals. He will score goals. He's absolutely clinical. Fox in the box, and like, lads, that finish. That finish, and lads, totally underrated because that was off his bad foot as well, lads.
Yep.
Off his right peg, and probably the only place he was going to score that goal was that height in off the crossbar. Phenomenal finish. Probably before it, if you're going to be a little bit critical when he went in on the keeper, probably should have dinked it and finished before then. We tried to go around him. Keeper probably nicked it off him, but yeah, what a finish.
Like they didn't shut him down quick enough. No. That was my kind of.
And he seems to get a few with his head as well, lads, doesn't he? Like that's a few he's picked up with his head for Leeds now. A couple of goals he scored, so he's lethal with the head as well.
He put that ball into the only area really that the keeper couldn't save it, because I thought that keeper is a good keeper. I think stat flashed up, didn't it, before we scored, that shots faced to shots saved is number 1 in league for a very poor Stoke side. They're signing for £1 million from Rotherham. I think we should have looked at Victor Johansson. I really rate him. He's a way better keeper than a 19th place Stoke, but he put that in the position, the only place that he couldn't save it. And like I say with Pirro, he gets the goals. I sort of feel like some players, I think Geldart's same. Sounds a bit daft, but are born into an era what probably don't suit them in terms of if Pirro and Geldart were playing 20 years ago, you know, now it's, you know, goals don't mean goals aren't everything, but you'll have people say it's all about goals. It's as simple as that. And yeah, I agree. There'll be a lot of people that disagree. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that say, you know, you've got these monitors on your back and you've got to do this, you've got to do that, bring people into play. 20 years ago, Alan Shearer just put ball in net, didn't he? You know, no one was talking about Shearer moving, or no one was moaning about Viduka looking lazy, or people. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. Whereas now there's so much more to what you've got to do. You know, I think Firmino sort of started it at Liverpool, didn't he? He didn't get the numbers, but he allowed your Salahs and your Manes to get the numbers. Exactly. Yeah. So that's why Bamford, you know, got his flowers for a couple of years where he got 15, 16 goals, but you had people around all get contributing similar amounts because of his hold-up play and the way he brings people in. But Pirro, if you just judge him on his goals to his minutes, his assist and goals combined, he's almost getting a goal or assist every 90 minutes. What more can the guy do, to be fair?
Yeah, agree. And like that, 9 goals already, still have a little bit to go. Like, hopefully he could have, you know, 10 to 12 the turn of the year, hopefully before Blackburn. Like, if you like, that's a decent return, you know, halfway through the season at the turn of the year. So you'd like to think that he probably is going to get maybe another 10. So if he finishes anywhere around, you know, 18, 19, 20 goals, that's a really, really good return for a striker. And like that's what gets you all this league. So yeah, just let's keep it going. Like you said, Mikey, I feel like now he's probably eventually kind of put it to bed that he probably is our number one striker, and it's mad how it's changed completely when we all kind of hung our hat on Matteo Joseph, and now it's completely gone back. Pirro's showed his class this season, much better than what he was last season, a lot more involved, scoring goals. Yeah, I think he has to be the number one, but like that, not a bad option to bring Matteo Joseph off the bench, is it?
It's still also,
No, it's not.
you know, that away form, you could say. When it is a kind of team that's kind of put on the low block, or you know that they're going to set up, is you'd probably put Joseph on just to kind of stretch them a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, if not Pirro for me, 100%.
What I've always touched on that. I prefer Joseph to start, as you know, and Pirro come on. I'm like a broken record with it, but obviously stats have shown earlier in the season that does work.
Yeah.
Difference what you get when Joseph comes on. Yeah, he does all running, but I don't feel like he affects games off the bench as much as Pirro does. But you cannot revert back. You know, one thing he's not done this season really is give one of them a period of time as the starting nine when they're not really playing too well. Like what? What you know, they might have had 5 or 6 in a row, but what tends to happen is they're all right for 3 or 4 of them, and as they start to lose form, he loses faith and he switches it back. Let him play fruit form now. What I want to see with Pirro now is I want Pirro to start the next 5 or 6, and if he don't score for a couple, don't change it. You know, the fans will be saying, "Oh, it needs switching again." He needs to just pick his 9 and stick with it now. And I feel like getting a brace. Surely looking for, like I say, there's always rotation. I wouldn't mind
unless it gets bad.
but,
yeah, I agree with you. Unless it gets to a stage where it's really bad, where you know he's not scoring goals and he's not getting involved in the play, and it kind of becomes a little bit untenable. Where it is time to change it up because he isn't scoring. But I agree with you, yeah, Matty, because even if he, you know, if he can kind of get into the game a little bit more, you know, link the play, have opportunities to score goals, and he's doing that, and he hasn't, you'd still want to be sticking with. But if it comes to a stage, and I think Pirro could be that type of player where he might go through a little dry patch of not scoring goals, and he also can be like very much out of the game as well. Do you know what I mean? Not really involved in the game, so it probably will ebb and flow again. He probably will go through a little patch, and he'll probably swap it up, and Joe's will be back in again. But it's not a bad thing. But Matty, I think we've kind of come to terms at the start of the season. It was very much like, no, we need a number 9. We need a starting number 9 that's going to score goals. But it's not a bad thing like that to just change it up a little bit and keep everyone fighting for places. You know, keeping everyone fresh as well. It's not bad at all.
And that's it.
Someone did mention the FA Cup as well. Like Joseph starting in the FA Cup was, you know, class.
It might be Bamford, yeah.
Stop.
But who knows? But yeah, I mean, like Robbie says here, Joseph's arguably a better football potentially. Some people disagree with that, but yeah, we've said it. I think his ceiling's potentially higher. Pirro scores, Joseph don't, so that ends the conversation. And that we're really, for now, until out changes, I feel like you stick with Pirro, and that's it really. Yeah. I mean, look at this. What Danny says, people hung their out on Joseph because they saw him score goals in a glorified training session in pre-season. And I was one of them. I tipped him to get 20 goals. I really believe the hype. How wrong were I? I do feel like there's potential there. Maybe it's just a little bit early for him to be 9 at Leeds United, a promotion side. You know what I mean? You look at it, he's so young. Maybe, I mean, Pirro really has the pressure to deliver really for me now, because you could say we failed not bringing in another 9 potentially in the summer, because we hung us hat on Joseph thinking Pirro's good backup. Pirro now has to do it really, because I don't see us getting goals from up top from Joseph, and definitely not Pat. So Pirro really has to do this for us, because I don't see us bringing a 9 in January. I don't know if you guys agree. Do you think January is just a 10, or do you think a 9 as well? What do you think we need, and what do you think they'll do?
I think a 10, mate. I think a 10, but like that, it sounds mad saying this now because Aronson had such a good performance, but it's just I don't want us to rest on our. I think the number 10 is void. I think if we're going to be looking at any position, it needs to be the number 10, just to get something a little bit different in there when Aronson is kind of not on the boil, just to bring someone like we've obviously heard rumours now about Emi Buendia. Might be up for that one, like whether Fark will go for someone like that hasn't really played football. Well, obviously, we're meant to be seeing he has worked on him before, so you would like to think, like, could you imagine someone like that coming off the bench, you know, on loan from Villa, when Aronson just isn't quite on it, to bring on someone of his quality, you know, that could pick the pass, is good off both feet, you know, that would be quality. And I do think someone like him will unlock Pirro even more. I think someone like him treading them balls in behind, you know, trying to pick Pirro out, that might unlock that a little bit more from Pirro as well. So, yeah, it's more so the 10 situation for me is the one that I think we just need a little bit of cover there. Just something different. Just a little plan B for when it isn't going right with Aronson. We need a shake up there.
Yeah, different profile, really. You know what I mean? Even if it's just someone as a backup, someone to push him, someone to rotate with.
Like the strikers, mate. Just something different.
100%. Like you say, it'd be nice to get a Buendia, but if it's a McAtee or I assume it'd be a loan, I still think it doesn't matter who we're bringing in 10. We could bring in Messi. I still think he'll start Aronson. I think he's one of his favourites. He likes what he gives.
Yeah.
He's a great cog in that engine. But like we said before, if he comes out with an injury, we haven't really tried anyone else in there, and we can't really afford to be experimenting 20 or 30 games into the season. So they need to get January to get him up to speed, and then a little rotation just in case the worst does happen. But I feel like we've seen Joe obviously on Joe's show, and he's touched on how much he loves Aronson, but even he still says we need a 10 as well. Do you know what I mean? People can laud after Aronson. Nobody doesn't think that we don't need a 10 for me, even if they rate him.
Look what you said, mate. Could you imagine 10 games to go? It's coming down to the crunch game of the season. You have that final little run in. Aronson gets injured or just not on it. He's gone off the boil a little bit. And it will feel criminal then if we haven't done something in January just to have someone in there. And look what you said then. I'd hate to be only experimenting there, like only trying to Solomon in there, only trying to Nanto in there with 10 games to go. And like what you said, experimenting. It's well too late. That only feels like the one thing that kind of leaves the chance. I do think we've covered everywhere: the back line, centre halves, goalkeepers, midfield, wingers, the 10 as well. We obviously have 3 strikers there as well. Unless Bamford does go out the door, I don't think he will. But if he does, then maybe something there. But yeah, I do. 10's that kind of the only position where I think we just need a little bit of cover there.
I have to agree. I'm the exact same. I think exactly what Darren said. Aronson, for me anyway, I just. He's not consistent enough. He goes missing an awful lot, especially against Blackburn. He hasn't done anything wrong, but he has done, he might take a shot outside the box, inside the box. It's always getting bloomed over the bar. He can score tap-ins, don't get me wrong. But I just feel like someone with that bit of quality, kind of what we're had now. I know people are going to say he lost the ball an awful lot, but he won it back an awful lot as well, and that injection, but Aronson is he's fine, he's not, but just to shape it up, plus to have someone on to come on. But if you have Tanaka there, personally, I'd throw Tanaka on. I'd give Tanaka.
I mean, like Robbie says here, my take, we don't need a 10. We need to adapt to what we have. I can't disagree in terms of I feel like we've got pieces of the jigsaw within our side that could play in 10, whether it's square pegs in round holes or not. I do believe that Tanaka could play in a 10. I think Nonto, I think Ramazan, Solomon, I think they could all play in 10 and do a wicked job, but Farker doesn't, so we have to go get a 10 for that reason. I aren't going to disagree with me. I think Ramazani plays in 10. He gets more goals and assists than Aronson. Whether he's as effective off the ball, I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. I think he's got enough behind him to support that, but I don't think Farker believes that take, Robbie, even whether I do or not. So for that reason, we have to go get a 10 because.
And I think so, Mike, even towards the end of the transfer window as well, obviously when a slam shut, and that was kind of the first time we seen him a little bit critical of 49er, saying that, we wanted to go get a 10. He obviously made his feelings known to the board. We went in for a hammer. So it tells you exactly what his feelings were at that time as well. So I do feel like you're probably still thinking the same as well, that we still need number 10. Are there answers in the squad? Yeah, 110%. But do we want to be experimenting with it like that too late on the season? I do think he's going to stick with Aronson, but like I said, I don't want it to come down to that crunch time and we're kind of flip-flopping then and, it's just going to work. Is that going to work and trialing it then? I just think it's too much to risk. So, yeah, I just think now, go out and get a 10 like that. If it's a loan, like that, if Buendia, McAtee, someone like that, what's really the downside of it? If you can get someone coming in there hungry, wants to, get the career back on track, similar to kind of Solomon. If it is Buendia, obviously have to be now with injury, class. I mean, if you could have Buendia like that, even fit for, the last 15 of our remaining 23 games,
massive
class. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, massive.
Are you in January, lads? I don't think I've asked you this. Are you worried about anyone leaving? I've heard rumours of Strauch. We've heard rumours of Dan James, Tottenham. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's just rumours? It's silly season because they're doing well. I mean, whether you agree or not, I think it's good that as players are linked, obviously, because it means we've got good players. It means they're doing well. Just because a link doesn't mean they're going to go. Just because a big side who's going to offer them money, that doesn't mean they're going to go. Go be mid-table in Premier League or low-end Premier League now, or you could be that next season with Leeds United after winning a championship and being lauded by all the fans. How do you sit on that? Do you think there's anyone who you're worried might go? Your Tanakas as well, or do you think as long as we're in that top 2 as we are now, mid-Jan, that should deter anyone wanting to go, lads?
I think Fairbairn probably will. To be honest with you, I just feel like maybe there's a bit more going on behind the scenes that we know of. But other than that, I can't see anyone else kind of going. I feel like if the club have their best interests at heart, they would, they want players that are here to get us promoted. They're not here to mess about this season. So, just considering that the Fairbairn noise is going back a couple of months, I think it was September or October, was it? That news kind of started kind of floating about. So yeah, Fairbairn.
It goes for free, doesn't it, Dilo? I mean, if someone comes in with 6 or 7 million or 5 million now, do they take it? Because he's going to go for out in 4 or 5 months' time.
Yeah.
I think you have to, mate. I do think, like, if someone does come in with, like, if it is going to be Betis, like, whoever it may be, as hard as it is saying, because I really do like Firpo. He obviously, we know about his Premier League days. He really upped the last season, phenomenal. Started the season well, but I just think the last couple of weeks, I know he's out injured now. I don't think he did himself any justice with the whole suspension situation. His performance against Blackburn as well was really, really poor. So, yeah, I think probably potentially is what Dylan said. I think it probably will be Firpo. Look at anyone else, like what you said, Strike, James, Tanaka. That just shows that we've really good players here, mate. Yeah, and if there wasn't Premier League clubs, looking at these players, well, then obviously we're not doing enough. But I don't think Leeds are going to be silly enough to kind of let any of them go unless a ridiculous offer comes in, for any of the players. Then maybe, but I can't. Yeah.
They probably would take 30 million.
Well, look, if you're only at spending 3.5 million, and someone slaps down whether it's a Brighton or Spurs or whoever it may be, come and bid Leeds 30 million for Tanaka. Like, they probably are going to take it, you know what I mean? So I think it'll take something silly like that, might for any of our players to go, to be honest with you. But I don't think Leeds will be forced into anything. All the players are on the contract. It's not like before where, we had all these players, loan clauses, people trying to get out the doors. Yeah, I can't see anything big happening, like what I said, unless it's something dramatic. Like.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's right, Joe. Like I say, they'd be stupid not to take 30 million for him. Yeah, I mean, when we came down from Prem lads, players like Nonto pushing moves and stuff like that. When they signed for Leeds, they didn't expect to be in Championship. Anyone like a Tanaka, they expected to be in Championship because they signed for us as a Championship club. So I don't feel like people are going to jump at the first chance to move. It's one of them. If we're 4th, 5th, and lads aren't fancying it, and they're still playing well, some of these players, which I'm sure there would be, maybe then they'll look at it. Maybe then they try and force them, put a transfer request. But I think this group of lads under this manager, I think, let's be fair, we've all praised Farker for his man management. I think he's great with lads. I think behind the scenes let's be fair, it's got to be hard as a manager of such a talented squad, 6 or 7 starters who are now bench players. He's really good man manager, and I'll be honest, we haven't heard any noise, even with Bamford. Firpo, there's all these question marks. I haven't heard one falling out. And I know they're good at keeping things behind closed doors, but it always sorts of windows out there if something goes on. We didn't quite hear what happened at that Palace game when we're in Premier League, but we know something must have gone on for wheels to fall off like it did. But yeah, for me, people like Bamford, Firpo, there's a few others, Schmidt. There's been no fallouts. There's been no, these lads aren't guaranteed minutes. Gilavogi comes in, smile on his face, knows he's going to get 5 minutes at best. I just think it's a really tight group who are united together and all aiming for the same goal without any outliers in there. Look at Joffe. Never a mutter from Joffe. And he's not even making bench anymore. Yeah, he'll probably go on loan. He's probably had discussions.
Do you think that's from Farke obviously laying down the law from last season? Obviously, the Nanto situation, you see a lot nowadays that it's player power and stuff like that, refusing to play and transfer requests and kind of forcing the book and stuff like that. Do you think that's down to Daniel Farke? Because I think it is. I think he's just one of them that came into the club, laid down the law, like, if you didn't want to be here, then I don't want you. Especially that first season when, with a lot of players going, even the Armstrong situation, forward that didn't want to be here then, and we obviously let him go. And Jack Harrison as well. I think Farke was just like, well, I don't care how good you are. If you don't want to be here, I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to kind of beg you to play. And especially then the Nanto situation when the transfer request came in, it's like, yeah, well, you're not going anywhere. There's no coming up with the money we want. If you're not going to play for us, you're refusing to play for us, well, then you're going out to the 21s. And I think that's probably worked its way through the whole squad and through the whole club. That I can't be kind of throwing me toys out of the pram here and having a little wobble here because I'm not going to get back in and I ain't going to get me on way. So you've no choice. I think the only way to kind of progress is hard work. And if someone comes in for you and wants to buy it, that's the right way to do it. 100%. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it could be down to Daniel Farke.
Yeah, me too, mate. I think Robbie, you make some really good points in this chat. To be fair, Robbie, I do believe we are a project for ambitious players. I've seen Danny say we're not a selling club. I believe to a degree we've got to be a selling club
in the Championship, mate. You've
got to be. Even if when we get to Prem, no, it is though. Even if we get to Prem and we're not, wherever you're not a European club, I feel like you're always going to not necessarily a stepping stone, but you saw Rafinha. Rafinha were always destined for Europe.
Yeah.
I see similar traits in maybe Ramazani or Tanaka. Maybe that's
Yeah.
wild, but traits where they should be playing in Europe. If Leeds go up, do we expect Leeds to be in Europe within two or three seasons? It's going to be a tough ask. So you can find yourself maybe a bit of a stepping stone for an ambitious player, and it is what it is. We want to be in Premier League.
Look at Brighton, mate. Look at like their recruitment's been unbelievable. Look at what they've sold their players for, and they're still fine. Once you get the recruitment right, you have a good solid foundation there with players touching into that market across Europe. You know, out over in China, you know, South Korea, Japan, stuff like that. There is quality players out there. There's no reason Leeds can't get into the Premier League and be that squad. Like, look, at no player is going to be here forever, and we can fall in love with players. And we say, look, we're not a selling club. To be honest, lads, every club is a selling club. Every player has
the right price.
Yep. Yeah, there's always going to be a price on a player, and that is horrible saying. Of course, we don't want to see any of our players going out the door. We don't want to see anyone leave, but it's reality of football nowadays. It's not like years ago. It's not back Billy Brown or Jack Charlton where they're one club men and they don't leave. It's very, very rare that happens nowadays, and it's just obviously when it comes to that situation, we cross that bridge when we come to it. But if you do see James, Tanaka, any of them move on, you just hope that Leeds get the recruitment right, and they have so far under the 49ers to replace them.
100%. Have you seen this link as well today? Have you seen this link?
Seen it today, yeah. Yeah, a bit mad. But you know what, mate? Probably a little bit of a smart move, like knows the club. That midfield with Joe Bellingham and Chris Rigg, if they could have someone in there like a Kamara, someone with a little bit of experience, you know, kind of shore up their midfield, it's probably a spot where they're lacking a little bit in regards to experience. Yeah, be classy. I'm a little bit mad though, because obviously when you see we bought him for 5, sold him for 10, we got Tanaka for 3, and now he's potentially coming back to Sunderland. Like, it's a little
crazy.
bit. Yeah, like,
it's crazy. It's not worked out for him there, isn't it? But yeah, just want to bring this comment up from Andy. Why is Farker the Messiah in the Championship but shrinking violently in the Premier League? I suppose the only club he's managed in Premier League, Norwich. How high is the ceiling for Norwich? So you get. I hate this narrative, me, that he can't do it in Prem based on what being at Norwich twice in Prem. I mean, what are Norwich ever going to do in Prem? Do you know what I mean? Like, best thing with Farker as well. They give it a go, did Norwich? I remember playing Liverpool a couple of times, and Klopp. Give Farker his flowers for how he played. You know, he went to Anfield and he give it a go, a bit like we did under Bielsa. I don't know what more he can do. He's at Norwich. They're not going to be a top 10 side. Is it fair to always use that brush to tarnish him? I'm not too sure. Like, he is too good for Championship. He is, because you could also say he's too good for Championship because he's had one of better sides at Championship. So, but then one at weaker sides at Prem. So it's one of them. Stick him at Stoke. Could he turn it round? I don't know. Who knows? You know, but he's been at Norwich. He's been at Leeds. They are going to be up there challenging. So hence his promotions. But he's at Norwich when he's been at Prem, hence his relegation. So I don't really know if it's fair. I just like what I see. You know, yeah, he's quite pragmatic. He has moments where, you know, you're pulling your hair out when you want him to go for it. But if he gets you 3 points, you know, I don't really mind. And I think in Premier League, it may be a good tactic.
Do you think his football might be like now, the football that he's playing now, do you think, this is a bit mad saying this, but do you think the football and the style of play that he plays now in the Championship, do you think it would be better in the Premier League? Because we are a very possession-based club. We do like to kind of keep the ball in the Premier League. That might just be a little bit more effective in the Premier League, because obviously under Bielsa it was unbelievable. We were expansive. Under Marsh, we were one of them where it was, remember, kick along and then try to win a higher up the park. We just kept giving possession back, which is absolutely mental. But a lot of the Premier League nowadays is about keeping possession, and if we can do that, you know, it could be effective. Like, it's you know, he says it's one of them things where we have to wait and see. You know, we can obviously look back at the Norwich one and say, yeah, look, he hasn't done it. He wasn't given any money to spend on Norwich. Yeah. Norwich hadn't got a penny, an absolute penny, and like, they weren't going to throw the book at it. Yeah, look to say. Oh, I wouldn't put it like that, but yeah, like, it's one of them. Like, do you know what I mean? So he has to get a crack at it. Obviously, we've had the conversation before. You know, I do think the 49ers will tighten the grip a little bit more, because now that if, you know, we get to the Premier League, it has to work for them. Look, the whole entity behind them. I do think Farkle know that he's on a short lease. You know, depends how the first 5 games go. If they go detrimental and we're getting hockey, you could probably see them pulling the plug on it there and then, maybe after 10 games. So it's just one of them wait and see. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, look, it's obviously one of them, Michael. I understand, like, slow, but just actually being possession based, just keeping the ball, you know, I know tempo and moving the ball quick and stuff like that. But I actually think just keeping the ball in the Premier League is the way to go. It's just one of them. We just have to wait and see how it plays out.
If we give up possession, lads, to sides in Premier League, if and when we get there, just touching on it now, without looking too far ahead. If we give, you know, a Liverpool or anyone, even lower side, you know, all the ball, and we're trying to sit back with 20%, I just don't think Farke's going to do that. You know, we're going to try and level the playing field best we can, and that's by holding possession for me. And it's the way we play football. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be a step up in quality like you've never seen. You know, it's a ridiculous standard going up there. But I feel like we're not going to be as open in Premier League. I don't think we're going to get battered 5 and 6s. People may laugh at that. I don't think we're going to be as open. I also don't think we're going to look as good on eye as we did under Bielsa, obviously. But I feel like there'll be a bit of a balance there. And I'd take 17th if we go up next season. I'm sure everybody else in chat would. You know, I think Farke is that man to consolidate, and then you move on from Farke further down the line. But I feel like he'll deserve his shot, and it's up to us to back him. 100%.
I'm kind of based on we're not there, so we shouldn't really be worrying about it. You know, at the end of the day, Darren did say it back a good couple of videos ago, like when and if we get promoted, the board need to back him and give him the money that he needs and let him just go, here, you know, here's the tools, go fix it or do what you need to do. But at the minute, you know, solely myself, I'm just worried about the championship.
Me too.
Yeah, I know.
Me too. Like Duncan says, Farke's style would be okay. I think it'll be okay. It's not going to pull up any trees. It's not going to be no world beaters. I don't think in the Premier League.
Definitely, it is. It's better players. Obviously, you asked the question a couple of weeks ago. Which elder side do you think will go up there? And there's a question marks over for you, Ampadu, because we haven't really seen him there. You know, can he make the step up? Joe wrote on, like, you think of a few off the top of your head, like saying Strike, Dan James can definitely do it as well. Tanaka can do it. You know, there's a lot of question marks, but like that, you'd like to think, and like what I mentioned, that kind of the whole spine of the squad kind of needs like a revamp. You know, you're talking about, you know, another quality centre half, a decent goalkeeper, probably someone else again in the middle of the park. We definitely need number 10, and then like that, another striker as well. Like, again, the question mark is over Joe Pirro. Can Joe Pirro do it in the Premier League? So there's all these questions. I do think the style of play would be okay in the Premier League, but it will require better players. So in turn, it puts the pressure on the 49ers to put their hands in their pocket and give them the tools.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. What's this say here from Richard? No tippy-tappy football in the Prem. And we are playing our own brand of football. We are Leeds, not Burnley, Sheffield United. Yeah, I think we'll be all right, mate. Like I say, it's a bit of major surgery. To be fair, going back a few weeks, I thought we only needed 3 or 4. Looking at that, when you just reel them out, we probably need 6 or 7, don't we? You know what I mean? We really need to bulk out with some quality. That spine at team, you know, your goalkeeper, another centre half, your striker, your 10. Pretty much apart from those DMs, who I'm pretty much happy with. We'll probably have to sign someone in for Rothwell as another midfielder. So major surgery. Actually, when you look at it, you are talking 6s and 7s, aren't you? A decent Prem quality. So
and the potential of left back then as well, like a fair play. You know, the question mark is over Bogle as well. We've seen him there in Sheffield United. I actually thought he was decent enough, but he was in a poor Sheffield United squad. So there is a question mark over a lot of players, and like that, we can all you're going to get totally different opinions from every single fan. You're not going to say every Leeds fan in the world down, and they're all not going to agree. And we need this, we need that. I think he's good enough. He's bad, you know, X, Y, and Z. But I do think probably across the squad, it will need a bit of surgery. It will need like a potential rebuild, but. Yeah, and that's where obviously Farke then, you know, will have to earn his flowers in the Premier League. Then is if he wants the tools and the 49ers give it to him and he doesn't deliver, well then, you know, he gets the boot, and that's the name of the game.
Yeah. Now that's true what Seaside's TV says there as well. Like, you're not going to have much of possession. I think he'll try his best. I don't think he'll sit back and try and counter. I feel like that's sometimes a tactic I'd like to have seen us adopt this season. You know, away from home when these games have been struggling, I wouldn't have minded us giving a little bit of possession away and trying to catch him on counter, because we've got some pacey players, obviously, as everyone knows, but we haven't really seen it. And I just think he's got one way of playing, and he'll live and die by that, won't he? So I think he'll try and match for possession. I don't think he'll sit back in any game and do that. I think he'll try and all ball. That's the way he plays, isn't it? Whether he's got the players to match or not, we'll have to see. But there's truth from what you're saying there, 100%. And I think we should adopt that on away games a bit more, but we don't. So swiftly moving on before we leave to Derby. I've seen a few people say it's going to be a tougher game than the Stoke game. Honestly, I'm not too sure. We've just beat them, just battered them at home. They look really average. Not too bad at home. They've just won a game. Who did they beat? Who did they beat? Well, West Brom. Beat West Brom 2-1. West Brom. So a good result for them. They'll be bouncing going into that. 2 home games back to back. West Brom and Leeds have already got 3 points. So it's probably more than the fans probably expected, to be honest. Although West Brom are slipping a little bit now, and Carlos going there probably in free fall now, aren't they, really, West Brom? But it's still a good result regardless for where Derby are in the league. What do you expect? Something similar, and what changes do you think is going to happen for this one, if any?
Can I go for it?
I think he might start shaping up. Like I think Amadeus going to start again. It's obvious. Schmidt. I think Schmidt might come in this one. I think he might give Nando and Ramazani a run. I'd say he'll stay with Aronson and Pirro as it is. I think it's going to be a difficult game, but I think Leeds will get across the line. I'm kind of hemming and hawing whether it'll be 3-1 or 2-1. But I'll go with 2-1 just to be different, because I know I'm just right up beside you now, Matty, at this stage.
I'm just one in front now. I'm just one in front now after that 2-0, yeah.
So I want to keep that pressure on you, you know.
What are you saying, Darren?
Yeah, look, I do think it's going to be a tough one again. Just I want us to completely get this away from, this kind of hoodoo off our back. I'm actually fairly confident going into Derby, lads, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too.
I do think now, after going away from home, putting a performance like that, the players' tails will be up. Hopefully not too tired. Might see a little bit of rotation, but yeah, I don't know. I can't see Derby scoring on us. So yeah, I'm going to go 3-0. 3-0 Leeds.
Yeah, I'm saying, mate. Like Duncan says, first goal's massive.
Yeah,
I think we get it.
It's applying that pressure, isn't it? From the start, mate. You up and at it. Don't kind of rest. Go get the first goal and play our game then.
Yeah, 100%, mate. It's all about that physical battle, isn't it? Not letting them have it easy in that opening 10, 15 minutes. Because as soon as you win that physical battle, for me, the game opens up and it swings in your favour. And we know the quality's there for Leeds. It's just matching them physically and for energy. Because sometimes, that's all some of these teams have got. They might not. A lot of them haven't got the quality. I'd say none of them in the league have got the quality Leeds have got. But if they come out firing, they can nullify our quality by a little bit of, you see some shithousery go on. You see, keeper holding it long, taking long throw-ins. Everything takes time, and shithouse is massive in this league, and so are big shithouses at back, and sometimes we get bullied. And it were really nice at Stoke to see a different side to us there, and hopefully we'll bring that to Derby game, like you say.
Especially away, remember Stoke away last year as well, lads, horrendous. Bamford missing the penalty, it's easy to kind of look past it, you know what I mean? But like that, like you said, mate, it's to have that kind of ruthlessness in you that you're up for it straight away. Do you know what I mean? You're not kind of resting on your laurels. No, exactly. I was literally about to mention it again. Keep the tempo nice and high, move the ball quick. Do you know what I mean? Get your tackles in nice and hard. Do you know what I mean? And like you said, just be a bit of a shithouse. And yeah,
that Stoke game last season, lads, were massive. Obviously we lost that game, but it was also a game where Farker stopped making changes after that game. He brought in Gruev. He made 2 or 3 rotational swaps in that game. And we lost. And then also Bamford missed his penalty, so Bamford sort of lost the fan base. That Stoke away last season was a massive black mark on our season for me.
And it could have been as well yesterday, mate. Imagine we lose there again yesterday. Do you know?
It were brave.
It's mental how much a win can put the blinkers on a win after a game. When I try and do imagine we lost the game. What the reaction going to be? What would kind of
with Tanaka on bench?
Think of that. With Tanaka on the bench, what the backlash? Because that would have been the first thing if we lost that game yesterday. Would have been straight. What is Daniel Fark doing? He's at the drop on Tanaka for Ampadu. He shouldn't have done that and blah blah blah. So you'll have all them, but because we won the game, people don't notice, and we've nothing to kind of really give out about it. So. Yeah, I don't know. I feel there's a different change in mentality with that performance yesterday. How well everyone played, especially away from home. I know Stoke are poor, but it's still a tough place to go. I just think the tails will be up. I think the lads will be happy to kind of get the hoodoo off the back with the away form, because it's obviously being asked a lot in press conference as well to Daniel Fark. So it would be on the players' minds, but yeah, I don't know. Danny's obviously a little bit kind of saying that's going to be a tough game, but I think I think comfortable 3-0.
I mean, you think, pal, we beat Cardiff away, which you went to, and Farker and the lads still got slated for that performance. Sheffield Wednesday, we won 2-0 away from that. That was a good performance. Swansea 4-3, that was anything but a good performance. Great thrilling win it was, but didn't make it look easy. So it's been a while since that Sheffield Wednesday away where it was a comfortable 2-0 win. It's been a long time since that's been months. So you look at that result obviously yesterday, and for me that's turning tide now. And yeah, I think I'm going to go 3-0, mate. Same as you, Dylan. Yeah, I'm going to go 3-0 as well. I just think it's my scoreline. I go for most games, and I see goals, and I don't.
So
see
what happens then if that comes true and the two of you get? He's not going to point each to you.
Yeah, both get a point each. Yeah. I'm just going to match Darren me for every single scoreline going forward. And he can't even beat me.
No choice then, yeah.
As I say, Paul, should be good atmosphere at Derby, full house, the away and sold out Derby haters. To be spicy if those days on the old baseball ground. Yeah, it should be, mate. Like I say, we've got a nice rivalry there from many years ago and also recent years. So it will be a good game. I can't wait for it, to be fair. it's a pity if Lampard's still not in charge of him because I just love playing Lampard. It's a while to play commentary again.
We'll have him too on it,
yeah. But we played him at home already, haven't we? So it's gutting that, so I won't see him. But
we see him coming back to Taylor now. Imagine the reception he would have got.
I know. You see that result of the day? Didn't he beat Plymouth 3 or what? 4-0?
4-0.
4-0. Rooney v Lampard. Legend. I say so. Anyways, right, I think we'll wrap it up at that unless anyone else has got anything else to say, lads.
No. Happy. It was probably the first time all season I've been fully kind of happy. I mean, with Leeds, it's always going to start the season and it didn't start too well. And then I remember the Burnley one feeling a little bit down, and then obviously this away performance then it kind of had me a little bit down as well. But this is probably for the first point all season that I'm feeling really confident.
It seems to be the most earning win.
Yeah,
as I said, considering
most satisfying one, isn't it? Yeah,
considering Christmas and the players themselves didn't get to spend it with their families. So for them to pull the socks up and get a win like that, and they play like they all playing well. It's a good game of football. It's a smashing game of football. So
cheers, Danny.
For once, Leeds haven't ruined us Christmas, so it's
that's nice. For once. Yeah, they usually always kind of wreck it. Remember Preston away last year as well. Absolutely wrecked Stevens' day as well. So.
Now we just need to not ruin his new year as well, don't the lads? And then we're absolutely bouncing it.
We'll be happy with them, man. Yeah.
We will. This is the start of our run, guys. This is. I'm sure of it. I'm absolutely sure of it. I know we've got a tough run coming up, haven't we? Is it February? I think we've got a tough run coming up. So it's imperative now. These next 3, 4, 5 games we get
a nice run going.
Too right, my mate. Right then, chat. Thanks so much. Stick a like on. Please go over and check all the Leeds Bros out.
Cheers,
we're both
mate.
pushing 500 subs. So hopefully we can get there close together. So please smash a like, subscribe. Everyone have a good rest of your time off work, which I'm assuming everyone's still got a few more days off, hopefully. If you haven't, then I have no but sympathy for you. But we're definitely lying when we say the final pint because I've still got another week of pints before I go back to work. So
definitely not the final point.
The final week of the point.
Exactly. So I never start. No, it's fine, Rich. Just go back and watch it, mate, and stick some comments and then we'll get back to you. But thanks so much, everyone, for watching. Much appreciated. Take care, guys.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.